Right, we're on Memorial Avenue here and here we got a small shopping centre. The reason I'm showing you this area because this used to be the place of the old Victoria Hospital. It was a nurse training hospital. Where them houses you can see through the gaps used to be a part of the hospital as well. Back there used to be the accident and emergency ward, accident and emergency, and in front of it used to be the main hospital. This is where I came when I cracked my kneecap and ended up in a pot. Also, I came here when I had an infected ingrowing toenail removed. What's interesting is that shop there, Farm Foods. That is a freezer shop. Lots of chest freezers, lots of, frozen veg, frozen meats and stuff like that. The interesting thing is my sister, who started training as a nurse before she decided to quit, says that is actually built exactly on top of where the morgue used to be. So she thought it was quite ironic that you got a place selling frozen meats on top of a place that had chilled meat ready for autopsy, to put it plainly. Behind us we've got the new Worksop, well, I'll say new, it's a few years old now, new Worksop Library. Nice library. Nice library. I prefer the old library, which we'll see in a bit. Trust somebody to be blowing. Downstairs you've got like the book area, if I'll show you through the window, like the books, the entertainment area. Then upstairs you've got like the reference library. To me it's a bit clinical compared to the old library with different rooms and wooden bookshelves and the smell of old books and stuff like that. This used to be a car park area. Used to be a massive car park, which will become relevant in a bit. And if I go around the corner here and just sort of point round here, if it's still there. Right, it is. Down there you have a pathway that leads to a bridge that goes over the River Ryton, and that takes you back onto where we're talking about the Fisherman's Arms used to be. This area here, this area used to be quite dimly lit car park. Down this edge here used to be a wall, and a wall against the houses there, and this is the area that we used to have the cattle market in. And I can just remember that happening. I never saw any cattle here. I did see plenty of pigs here, plenty of sheep. So that's where sort of the farmers' market was. That's the relevance of the market street. I remember seeing that with my mum, and I sort of said something like, "Oh, they're selling them to go to a new home," and my mum went, "Yeah, they're going to a new home." No, probably most of them were going to the abattoir. There is a plaque there, a memorial plaque. If I can zoom in. I think the building was dedicated to PC McDonald's, who was killed earlier near the town centre. I think this building was dedicated. So I talked about the car park and dimly lit. We come on to a bit more the seedy life of Worksop. Roughly here, where the entrance to the car park was some toilets. And they were shaped like cottages. What you'd have is, if this was the area, you'd have like a walkway going in with a wall round you, door open, and you'd be into the toilets. At night, it was a notorious pick-up point for gay men, and before anybody asks, no, never was here. I think it was knocked down before I started on the scene. It was also a pick-up point for, should we say, prostitution, male prostitution, and some of the prostitutes then would have been underage, but even in today's date would have been underage. Talking 13, 14, 15-year-olds. They go into the dark car park, or go across the bridge into the Canch area, or the Memorial Gardens there. I think a couple were actually caught in the Victoria Hospital car park garden area at the frontier. So a bit more the sleazy side of Worksop. People don't believe me when I say Worksop's got a bit of a sleazy side. Come down here to the Cenotaph. The centre of the remembrance services. I mean, what else? What else can you say? I remember, because the Worksop Priory is just down there, when I was a server, coming down here for the Remembrance Day services. I mean, and the priests used to stand at this end, do the prayers. The Lord Lieutenant used to stand here, do the famous the rising of the sun and setting of the sea, we will remember them type of thing. On this side used to be all the soldiers, and I always remember them. These old guys dressed in suits, immaculately dressed with all the medals, and obviously as the years gone on, that's got less and less and less. I do think now they do have veterans from the I don't know, Falklands, from Afghanistan and Iraq, they do take part. But I think most of the services are represented by the Army Cadets and stuff like that. Well, I think it's quite probably just take a couple of secs just to look round. Not really been any nastiness around the Cenotaph here. I know there's been incidences over the last year where some cenotaphs have been, shall we say, vandalised. Strange thing, I don't want to sound horrible, but you know, some had like the BLM logo sprayed painted on some of the cenotaphs. I don't know if this was from the BLM or if it was from people just trying to create trouble for the BLM. I know a few years ago a guy in one town or city was caught urinating on a cenotaph. I can't believe it, but it did happen. I know people were outraged, you know. They had suggestions like people like this, they should bring back hanging. Well, one way to stop him doing it is to take him into hospital and surgically remove his dick. Probably cut his hands off and then he wouldn't be able to hold his dick, and you know, and stuff like that. Because people were really outraged. This is the old library. Spent many a happy hour here. Usually on Saturday mornings if I had projects to do with school, because in the centre there was a good reference library. Schools today, I mean kids today at school, if they have projects, they go on the internet, and that's great, fantastic. They can find all the information they want that easy. And in some respects I've got no problem with that. Got no problem at all with that. Because they can get better information, can find out if different people's opinions, they can download documents and stuff like that. So, brilliant. How easy is it compared to when I was at school and we had to come down to places like this? Very easy. How, I want to put this right, how rewarding is it? I mean, we had to put in the time and the effort, not just a few clicks with a copy and paste. Yeah, it's great for them, but I don't know if it's as beneficial as when we did it, where we had to come down and do physical research. I could spend 4 or 5 hours here easily on a project. This is an interesting one. It is a drinking fountain for the cattle. Metropolitan Drinking Fountain and Cattle Trough Association. This area is called Memorial Gardens. It's always kept nice, always beautiful, always well maintained. Flower beds are always, oh, you could easily come down here and spend just all day just sat in this garden, looking at the trees, looking at the flowers. No problem at all. Oh, some sort of plaques around here that I've not noticed before. Oh, you got the memorials to soldiers and stuff like that. But these are new. These are new here. What's these? These are new dedications. I've not seen these before. But yeah, beautiful gardens. Behind there is the river. At the top there it splits into two. Down here it splits into two again. But you'll see that when we go round. These are interesting. When the Victoria Hospital was demolished, they thought we have some stuff that we need to take out. The memorials. So they were took out before they even started, carefully took out for the building. Like I says, I think it was opened up 1925. There's one saying 1923. So basically just preserving a bit of the history of Worksop. But like I says, it's so, even though you're near the town centre, it's so serene and peaceful here with the gardens. And I know people do use them quite regular. I know people used to go to the library, get a book out, and if they were really interested would start sitting here and start reading it straight away. People that have had lunches would start getting them straight away, eating lunches here. It says God knows what time it is. And the gardens carry on down to there. Just go around here so I can show you where the river runs. So like I says, the river comes down here. It's already split into two further up. Comes down here and it splits two again. One goes underneath there and one goes over a weir there. That looks actually quite full around there. This is the old Wrighton Park School in front of us. Closed many years. I don't know. First off, I do think it's listed. I'm not sure. But that's why they can't actually tear it down. That's what somebody's broken in. Oh, that's what some people have broken into it. But, oh, they are beginning to tear it down by the looks of it. Strong associations with the Worksop Priory. One of the priests, Father Snasdall, was trained as a teacher, and then he's also, before he became priest, so he used to teach here as well as be priest across the road. We were encouraged to help out. Some of those older teenagers were encouraged to help out with the youth club that used to happen there on a Monday. So yeah, it used to be fun. And here we are. Lots of people have heard me talk about the Worksop Priory before. I've done videos on it before. Wish I could attend a lot more than I actually do, but due to working situations I can't. Many happy hour here. It used to be a monastery. It was quite a substantial monastery. Franciscans, I believe. Or was it Franciscans, I think. A bit later on you'll see me refer to a place called Bracebridge, and there they did, when they started building that, they did actually find a leper graves from the leper colony. The Priory does have some wealth, but it's wealth that we can't touch. I mean, talking about things like we have a coronation glove, we have a psalter, I'm sure we have a copy of the Domesday Book. Valuable items would sell for millions and millions and millions. But the problem is, if you sell stuff like that, chances are it will go out of the country. At the end of the lanes there, you've got the old gatehouse. We are one of 4 churches with an existing gatehouse. Quite a few cathedrals do, but I think we're the one of 4 churches. So we'll come down here a bit. Into what's referred as the sensory gardens. If you can get into them. Thought the entrance was from here. There's the river coming underneath. Oh, right, I think it's locked up. Right, sensory gardens. Actually, don't look too bad. I thought it would look worse than it is. Oh, the gate's there. The gate's there. Hello. Hang on a minute. I've got a dog. I had a little dog wanted a fuss. I had a little dog that wanted a fuss. But the sensory garden's here. It's supposed to be a lot of colour, a lot of smell. It was basically designed for blind people and people with disabilities. This area, I remember, it's not sensory gardens, as but the open air swimming baths. Open up summer holidays, spent lots of time here swimming. Very cheap to get into, but it doesn't matter how hot it was, the water was bloody cold. You jump in and you go, ah! Sort of feeling. So, yeah. But spent plenty of happy time here. That there's like there used to be like a paddling pool there. I think it's them fountain type things. There's always been a bit of a playground here. Used to be younger kids this side, older kids the other side, and it's always been like that. Across the road we have the area referred to as the Canch. Let me get across before this bus comes. Here we used to one of the old things that used to happen here, we used to have the bonfire and the fireworks display. That now happens on the rugby ground. What happens here now is when the fairs come and the circuses come, this is where they pitch camp, if you like. It's also quite a large area. There is a play area, people exercise the dogs on, people run, people exercise. So it's quite a popular area. There's a couple of plaques here. Queen Elizabeth II Field in Trust, and that there. Those are quite significant because I think about 20-30 years ago there was talk about selling this and developing it, you know, for houses. There was uproar, there was absolute uproar. Where do the fairs go? Where do the circuses go? You know, taking common fields away from us and stuff like that. Oh, by the way, the circuses, I remember the old circuses with the lions and the elephant. Down the side here, they used to have the trailers with the lions in. You know, we're in the middle of the town. If one of them escaped, it'd be devastating. But yeah, but get back to the point. So it was that sort of thing. Plus also in the 2019 floods, this actually flooded. This area flooded. So if they built houses on it, a lot of the houses would have actually ended up underwater. So that's the Canch area. Cross back over so we can go look again, different areas of the park. The park has altered over the years. Obviously. I mean, they never used to have like a skate park in it, but where them fences are were roughly the tennis courts. And beyond that was like bowling greens. Oh, I forgot to show you where the professional bowling league is. Lone Bowls. Where you could actually hire bowls and have a game of bowls. This is like it says, that's the first river there. This is where the second branch from the weir comes. And the third area comes down here. I might have to change my battery soon. And the third branch of the river comes down this area here. I would say the three branches, this is the faster flowing. If I put it over there, you can actually see. When I was younger, I used to come stickleback in here, catching little sticklebacks. Bit further down, you could get newts and stuff like that. Right, I'm just going to pause it a sec and change the battery. Right, while I was just changing the battery, I've just walked down a bit further. This big building here, I think it's used mainly as a storage area now. Used to be Stoles of Chelsea. I can remember seeing signs up saying Stoles of Chelsea. Stoles of Chelsea was a wine manufacturer. Don't know if they produce wine here, not sure. But that's used to be Stoles of Chelsea. Some workmen just having a break. Going to take a little detour down this side here. Just to give you some idea where we are. That building at the bottom is where that Matalan store is. It's actually further down the front, but this building is actually big, and I can remember like gas tanks here. Just remember like gas tanks here. So like I says, it probably did produce wine on site. I'll talk about that building in a sec. Because just around the corner here is the old fire station. Now, this is the old fire station. And it's quite open, so I can just stand here. Obviously, with not talking petrol station, we're petrol, probably horses. By the looks of it, some of these used to be stables. But this used to be the old fire station, the sort of kiln area there. I don't know what that was. But yeah, the old fire station. I mean, there's nothing else really to say about it. You got the Basildon District Council, I think that was the Works Department as well. Right, this building in front of us. Massive building with great silos. That's a flour mill. Yes, in the middle of Worksop we have a flour mill. Whitworth's Brothers. I don't know if they produce flour for personal use or if it's just all commercial. I mean, if I go like that, you can see bits of flour that come out of the exhausts on top of building. I says I don't know if it's just for personal use or if it's commercial use or what. From what I can gather, very hard to get a job in there. You basically have to know somebody. If I look at that area there, you can see what used to probably be like a doorway that went down to the canal for a winch. You get in there, it's a job for life, and you're set for life, unless you're a total dickhead, obviously. That says, from what I can gather, it's very hard to get a job in there. You basically have to know somebody. They do advertise now and again, but it's usually family of employees, especially the good employees, they're usually chosen first. Canal. If you carry down straight down, there is a walk straight down there, but that takes me away from what I wanted to show you. Also, if you carry on straight down, it takes you where I did the canal walk. It's actually quite reeded up. They do clear it now and again. But like I says, I have known boats going up and down here, canal barges going up and down here. Sometimes people hire them. Sometimes they're privately owned. But I have known barges going up and down there. I says there's a walkway round. My throat is beginning to get very dry. Also, it's starting to get very busy. Right, I'll have to wait to cross the road, because I ain't risking it with some of the idiot drivers you get. This building here used to be the old Worksop Brewery. I know they got a brewery in Retford. I think it was partly owned, but I don't know how much you're going to see through these gates. But like again, you got like the stable yards for the drays. I don't know how much beer they actually produced on site, but I know whatever they produced were for local pubs, for the town pubs. Let's have a walk down here. Some old houses here being repurposed as sort of workshops and stuff. Oh, it's actually open. Dare I walk in? It's actually open. Oh, crikey. Didn't think it'd be open. Don't stay too long. Again, it's all been repurposed for different uses. It's quite a nice little cottage industrial estate down here. So, oh, I forgot to say, this is Prizewell Road area. Don't think I would want one of these houses where literally your front window is on the street. No, so basically anybody could look in. I could probably go up one of these windows and just look in and film inside the house. So no, don't think I would want one of these houses. My arm is actually beginning to ache with walking with this selfie stick. I hate to think what time it is. I mean, I could turn the camera sideways filming one else, but that wouldn't be exactly kosher. That'd be very, very rude. Right, I'm going to stop here and restart the new video looking at the Kilton Inn. Also give me a chance to have a couple of minutes rest.